NCN Sports is presented by Medica. With a Medica health plan, you're not just covered, you're cared for. Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose. And by Teammates Mentoring. Join the team, be a mentor.
The stage is set. A brand new basketball season begins. The latest installment of a longtime local rivalry between Tricounty and Wilber-Caltonia. Southeast Nebraska is the scene for the start of a brand new basketball season on News Channel Nebraska. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Wilber, Nebraska. A chilly Thursday night as we start off the 2025-2026 high school basketball season here on News Channel Nebraska and indeed all across the state. Happy to have you with us alongside my partner, the former McCool Junction Mustang, Chase Wilkinson. I'm Tim Hackett. Our entire NCN Sports crew working hard behind the scenes. They've got a busy couple of days ahead of them as well. We're looking forward to this game, Chase. Tri-County versus Wilber-Caltonia in the second leg of this Thursday night doubleheader. There's a look at the two coaches who have authored some good things for these two schools. Not a lot of time at the helm of these two programs for either of these two guys, but I think based on what I heard from them earlier this week, they're setting the stage for what could be a really, really intriguing game tonight.
Absolutely. I think we're in store for a great matchup just for Wilber-Caltonia and Tri-County. Both teams kind of finished middle of the pack, I would say, last year. Not good, not great, but also not bad. I think this year is going to be a big test. They got a bunch of seniors that were juniors last year stepping up to the plate for Tri-County, and they're sophomore heavy here for Wilber-Caltonia, and a couple juniors that will start for them tonight, Evan Smith, Colin Kohout. I think we're just in store for a great matchup. I think it's pretty evenly matched across the board, and both these teams are hungry to start off their season the right way, 1-0.
I think we know, especially from what you hinted at earlier on when we started our coverage tonight, neither of these teams believe they will be at their best tonight. There's still a lot of growing pains. There's still a lot of things to smooth out. When these two teams play, whoever they play 2 months from now, they're expecting to be a lot more ready to go. But it doesn't matter. You got to be ready to turn around and play. And the season waits for nobody. Holiday last week, snow day at the start of this week has kind of made things a little bit more challenging. But here we go. We're ready to play.
Right. That'll play in too. And I think the biggest thing that both coaches are going to look at is just, fundamentally, can't beat themselves. Turnovers, rebounds, control what you can control, like you said last game. I think that's going to be a big part. Sticking to what you know offensively, being in your defensive sets, don't have defensive breakdowns. I feel like those are big keys that both coaches are going to watch for in this game.
These two teams are built on some last names that you will hear a lot. Star players that have been at the head of the pack for the last couple of years for these two teams. First off, for Wilber-Caltonia, it's a relatively new member of the squad. Jameson Conway leads the way. Just picked up a commitment to Briar Cliff, NAIA school just to the east of us in Iowa. And he is the one that really makes this offense work. He's their number 2 scorer back from last year. Really, their entire offense that's back from last year. We know that he is going to be a featured player for them, not just tonight, but all season.
Yeah, he's an electric player. He's tall and lengthy, but also, he's so good from the field goal percentage-wise, and he's got about 10.5 points per game. He's 33% from field goal and 29% from three. He's just a guy that can shoot at any place from the court, and it could most likely go in. So he's a talented player for this Wilber-Caltonia team.
He knows how to shoot the three, and somebody else who knows how to shoot the three is Drew Sims. He's been at the head of the pack for years for Tri-County. Jeremy Sims is the one that leads the way, but Drew is one of the top scorers at this level of high school basketball in the state, has been for years.
Well, the thing is, senior, he's 6'3", which I know nothing about. But the thing is, he can play point guard, shooting guard, and small forward. That's how talented he is at the game of basketball. He can beat you in many different ways. He's averaged almost 25 points a game last year, 3 assists, and 44% from the field. That stands out pretty impressive. When he's going to put up a shot, most of the time it's going to go in.
One of the top scorers in the state of Nebraska among all classifications last year, Drew Sims. He starts off his senior year against Dan Conway and the Wilber-Caltonia Wolverines. Just a few minutes away from tip-off and the season opener for these two squads, Tri-County versus Wilber-Caltonia, coming up next here on News Channel Nebraska.
It's not just about the shoe. it's about your fit.
What sets Fleet Feet aside from everything else that we've experienced is my girls being runners. They have very different needs. And so that technology with the scanning and the personal touches is just unmatched. I met Lori almost 16 years ago, and when I saw Lori open this, I knew there was no other place that I wanted to go to have someone help me with my footwear and everything else involved with running. Fleet Feet doesn't just fit your shoes, it fit your life.
Fleet Feet Lincoln. Find your fit today.
Darling, I believe everything's gonna be alright. No need to worry, cause you got somebody on your side. We all need a fam, we all need a crew. When you're in a jam, don't know what to do, just reach out your hand and we'll see you through. Doesn't matter where you're at, we got your back. We got your back.
With a Medica health plan, you're not just covered, you're cared for.
We got your back.
The pregame show is sponsored by Custom Sports. Look great for every game with custom team or business apparel from Custom Sports.
Hi, this is Rick Heyman, president of Sartor Heyman Jewelers, welcoming you to Sartor Heyman. 120 years, 4 generations of excellence. We've helped thousands of Nebraska families over the last 120 years to make their dreams come true. Thank you so much for your business over all these years, and we welcome you this year to our 120th anniversary. When only the best will do, Sartor Heyman Jewelers. And happy holidays from our family to yours.
Southeast Nebraska is the site of this kickoff to the 2025-26 basketball season. Another chapter of a longtime local rivalry between these two teams, these two towns, these two communities that know each other very, very well. Played almost every year, multiple times a year, sometimes for the last 2 decades plus. Dead all-time series is pretty even. Wilber-Caltonia in front 16-10 after winning the matchup last season. Time now to take a look at our 2 school spotlights. We'll start off with the home team tonight. We're based in Wilber. There's a hyphen squad, Wilber-Caltonia, uniting these 2 towns that are separated by about 15 minutes of drive time. Caltonia just due to the east of where we are right now in Wilber. Technically in Saline County, but if you go just a little bit to the south, you'll be back in Jefferson County, and that's technically where Tricounty is based. Obviously, a school that is named for the border of the 3 counties that they sit on, Jefferson, Saline, and Gage. Tri-County based technically in DeWitt on the border of DeWitt and Plymouth. Literally just a 15-minute drive south. That's all that separates these two. You could probably make that throw, right?
Throw. You got a heck of a throw, but you can do it.
Former McCool Junction Mustang has something to say about that one. It doesn't take long for these 2 teams to get to each other, and I asked both coaches this week. You can watch both of those interviews now on News Channel Nebraska, or maybe save it for halftime if you're so inclined. But I asked them both, is this a rivalry? And Coach Dan Conway from Wilber-Caltonia said, yes, it is. It doesn't matter what sport. Wilber-Caltonia wants to play well against Tri-County, and the same is true in reverse. Our fans get involved. Our students get involved. I can speak to that firsthand. I was at this matchup in DeWitt last year. We were standing next to the Wilber-Caltonia students. You're going to look at them here tonight on their home floor. They were rowdy. They were not doing anything untoward, but they were very excited for that game, and they got to see their team win it last year. Doesn't matter what sport, these 2 schools want to play well against each other.
And I love the term friendly rivalry. It's almost,
It's a bit of a paradox,
It is a paradox, but the thing is, not everyone likes their neighbors, and they're so close together sometimes that they might have to butt heads in terms of sports and what they're playing, but that's how it is. Some of the best rivalries in all of sports are neighbors.
Jeremy Sims, meanwhile, who's the head coach of Tri-County, you're looking at him right now here on your NCN feed. He kind of downplayed it, I think, relative to what Coach Conway said about, he said, yeah, it's a rivalry. He said, yeah, you would call it a rivalry, but he took this as, look, it's just game 1 of the season for us. And the fact that it's a short trip, I'm sure helps. The fact that it's against a team that we know very well helps. Doesn't hurt, right? But it's not really a rivalry, not necessarily something that Tri-County is going to put more effort in than anything else, because they want to put 100% effort into every game.
Right, and it doesn't change. For Tri-County, they're just going up against a pretty talented Wilber-Caltonia team that just wants to go in and win the ball game as well as you do. So, that's going to be a big test. All it is who can execute better.
This Tri-County team looks very similar to how it did last year. They had a lot of growing pains going into last year. This is one of the better programs in boys basketball in this part of the state. They get a lot of their guys back from last year, and they get one new addition. You see him right there in the center of the screen, lines up very nicely with the letters right below him. Drew Sims is the guy at the head of the pack all the way on the left, but the newest member of the Tri-County squad is Zach Vossler, who is one of the guys who led Exeter Milligan Friend to the state tournament for the first time in team history last year, transferred to Tri-County this year as a three-sport athlete, played football, was injured, was not able to complete the season for them, but figures to be on the track team later this year as well, figures to be a starter for them, literally in the middle of things for Tri-County this year. 14 in the blue is going to be a name to watch.
Going to be a name to watch indeed. You know, he took EMF almost all the way last year, transfers in to Tri-County, a lot of question marks, was injured during football season, and this is finally his chance, you know, to play with the Tri-County team. And, I mean, what better way to start than going against a really good Wilber team?
A lot of those other guys, though, that are sitting alongside him were featured players last year. Drew Sims, Henry Kapke, Jason Werman, all seniors. We will also see a lot of Justice Werman, Caleb Schnelly, and Trevor Kapke. They're all sophomores. Tri-County fans right in front of us, standing on to give an ovation to Drew Sims. He gets a handshake from Dawson. They're all together now. Jeremy leading the pack, and Drew and Dawson on the floor. It's got to be a pretty special feeling for the Sims family.
That'd be so cool. You know, having a pregame, you know, handshake with your brother on this, that'd be awesome. That's awesome.
It's not, and as I told Coach Sims earlier today, it's not a unique situation, right? They're not the only father-son duo in the country. We're about to look at another one, but it is still a pretty cool situation. For Wilber-Caltonia, head coach Dan Conway told me this week, we don't look anything like we did last year, and if you're a Wolverine fan, you're going to look at this starting five and say, this is not a starting five we saw all last year. Jamison Conway is their top returning player, and frankly, none of these other four guys were featured players last year. Now, they were all top reserves, so they all played key roles, but only Conway is the returning starter. They lost almost all of their production elsewhere.
Yeah, and keep in mind of that, because that's going to be something you're going to have to keep along with, is how, you know, a couple of these players haven't really, you know, had as much experience as other people. So they're going to have some big shoes to fill, obviously, and they're going to have to, you know, compliment Jamison Conway in a big way, you know, getting him the ball or, you know, taking some pressure off him by hitting those big shots. So I feel like they are going to, that's a big question mark on a couple of those players and starters for Wilber, but we're about to find out.
You can channel that into excitement, right? Because it's uncertainty, I think it's fair to say.
Absolutely.
For these guys, for the coaches, and for the families, but for all of those other guys, they're getting an opportunity that they simply haven't yet. It was true for a lot of these guys for Tri-County going into last year, all jumping into bigger roles that perhaps they hadn't yet, but it's true for just about all these guys wearing white for Wilber-Caltonia. They want to extend what's been a pretty good run of form for the Wolverines for the last couple of years. It's their time now. Meanwhile, Tri-County brings in a ton of returning players and a top transfer in Zach Vossler. Vossler wins the tip, and we're underway in the 2025-2026 campaign. An early touch for Drew Sims. We figure he will have a lot of those, and there's an immediate foul called against Wilber-Caltonia. That's Brock Young, sophomore center, played in just 5 games last year for the Wolverines, and he's called for a foul 8 seconds into the contest.
Yeah, it's kind of an early foul there. You know, only 8 seconds, like you said. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Don't want to get those silly fouls right away and too early in this first quarter.
Is that a tone setter from the folks in stripes, do you think?
Could be.
Not necessarily sure we're expecting a chippy game, but if they are, then they're starting to make their presence felt. High-low for Vossler. His first post touch and his first bucket as a member of the Trojans. A featured member of the Exeter Milligan Friend team that made the state tournament for the first time as a collective just a couple of months ago, and he's on the board with his new team.
We're going to get a foul here on Jason Weirman, trying to get a little too handsy, trying to get that steal right away. And that's, again, another quick foul in this game.
Going the other direction this time. First against Jason Weirman, who was a featured role player last year, played in just 15 games for Tri-County, getting the start here as a senior. First touch for Crew Pulliam, a multi-sport standout for Wilber-Caltonia. He gets bumped. So 3 fouls in the first 50 seconds of this game.
It's kind of shocking. I mean, the biggest thing is foul trouble, and that's something you want to keep in mind of as, you know, a coach. Yeah, a lot. Third foul here in the first minute. That's something you don't want.
Which team has more depth is arguable, but Tricounty simply does not have as many players. First look for Jamison Conway, just offline on a three-pointer. He will take a lot of those. He had a pretty good look. Drew Sims calls for the pass. Wehrman feeds it to him. Drew Sims will now take a three. Too strong. Vossler with the offensive rebound. Right back to the rim, and Zach Vossler buries it. Sims with a rare miss, and Vossler with the putback.
Vossler's going to be something to watch in the paint all game long. He looks pretty energized and ready to go, but he's just making his presence felt early.
Pulliam kicks it into the corner. Avon Smith looked like he got hit up high by Drew Sims. Drew does not agree with the call. And that's now the fourth foul in the first minute 20 of the game.
Wasting no time. I mean, these refs are picking up on something quick. And we could be seeing maybe a bonus here early in the first quarter.
No kidding. On the fringes of that already. Not even 2 minutes of game time elapsed. Good defense by Caleb Schnelly. Played a decent role last year as a true freshman. Getting the start here to start his sophomore year, and he's going to be called for a reach-in foul. My goodness. As we just said, Tri-County really only has 10 or so guys on the roster. Now, how ready any of them are, we don't necessarily know. It's game one of the season, right? But they're going to be, that depth is going to be tested literally immediately. Schnelly will be lifted, and fellow sophomore Trevor Kapke stands in. Drew Pulliam dances around Sims. Leaves off for Conway. Kapke, fresh off the bench, will try to mark him. His left hand flips it over to Brock Young. Well outside the post, Young's going to have to work with it.
Good defense by Wehrman there down low, not allowing any space.
15 to shoot, but there's going to be another foul first. And that's Kapke, who just came in. Trevor Kapke. And that is the fifth foul of this game against Tri-County. We haven't even played 2 minutes.
Tri-County can't catch a break. Kapke literally came in to relieve someone who's in foul trouble or potentially could be in foul trouble, and he picks up one right there. Not the best start for Tri-County.
No doubts. And Jamison Conway is a true multi-level scorer. He can contribute in a lot of different ways. I mentioned earlier to you, Chase, I got to see this matchup a year ago. Wilber-Caltonia won it going away ultimately. Conway goes 1 of 2, and he was a standout performer in that one. Went 6 of 8 from 3 in that game and just jumped out of the gym to all of us watching. It was clear from that game that Jamison Conway was going to be a difference maker last year for Wilber-Caltonia. But if somebody was surprised by that, this will be a foul against Wilber. That'll be 7 fouls now against these two teams through 2 minutes, 5 seconds. If anybody was surprised by what Conway did in the season opener last year, I think you could be forgiven, but nobody's going to be surprised by that now. I think every team knows that he will be the X-Factor player.
Absolutely. I mean, he just had a great season last year as a junior, just hitting down tough shots, and his field goal percentages were through the roof, and now everyone's going to be keying in on him.
Speaking of keying in, here's Drew Sims. Welcome to his senior season. First bucket for the long-time standout. 24.5 points per game is what number 1 delivered last year. That was 3rd in the state among teams with stats on Max Preps. Avon Smith coughed it up, knocked away by his opposite number 3, Henry Kapke. Here comes Sims with a head of steam. And, a carry against Drew Sims. Ooh, wow, got out ahead of himself. That is something that he is prone to do to an extent, but I think all the things that he does provide tends to kind of overcorrect for any sort of error like that, I suppose.
Absolutely. But also a big thing is you can't let him open like where he hit that three-pointer last time. He's lethal behind that arc.
Garrett Smith checks in. One of Tri-County starting running backs this year. Pulliam for 3. No good. And Sims has the backside board. Good at a lot of different things, not just a scorer. But he will show you what he can do. Oh, he missed the finger roll. That close to a highlight reel for Drew Sims. Now he scraps for the loose ball, and a foul against Wilber-Caltonia on the ground.
Well, first off, great move to get inside the paint by Sims right there. Didn't get the finish. Good spin move right there. Goes to the right, a little too short, but look at him. Doesn't give up on the ball. Goes and dives on it. Gets a foul, 2-and-2. That's effort that you want to see out of your head coach or father.
We said that Wilber-Caltonia has more guys. The numbers side favors them, but as we told you, hardly any of these guys with the plurality of numbers. As Sims fires another 3, misses that one well short. Fights for the rebound. He wants the ball, and it will go to Wilber-Caltonia instead. The flip side to that equation, Chase, is that a lot of these guys for Wilber-Caltonia, they got more guys on the roster, but not a lot of guys with game experience, certainly not with varsity experience. So even check it, Crew Pulliam just picked up his second foul, so they're going to have to throw in R.J. Klassen to to make his season debut here tonight. Did not play a whole lot last year as a freshman. Here he is, number 11 in the whites. Pass is tipped, stays with Wilber-Caltonia. So that's kind of the flip side of that coin, is they've got more guys to choose from perhaps, but for Coach Conway and for Wilber-Caltonia, hasn't had to choose them very often in their high school careers.
Right, and some guys just don't get as much experience as other people. As you see a steal right there.
Sims right to the rack, and he will deliver another 2 points for Tricounty. The Trojans off to a flying start, 9 points, 5 of them courtesy of Drew Sims, and Dan Conway has seen enough. 4.5 to go in the first. Those are the two guys we told you about. Sims with the strip against Conway, and he gives the Trojans an early 8-point lead here on NCN.
NCN Sports is brought to you by Husker Rehab, treating the cause of the pain, not just the symptoms. By Schaefer's, we are more than just TVs and appliances. And by Claybaugh Pharmacy, your locally owned hometown pharmacy. This broadcast is brought to you by Carpashek's Market in Wilbur, home of the Wilbur Wiener, and by Downtown Family Vision in Wilbur.
Strong start to the night for the Trojans. The Wolverines still without a field goal. 3.5 minutes in, 8 total fouls, 10 combined points to start things off. RJ Klassen to another new member of this featured team, senior Hayden Warner. 1 touchdown low for Avon Smith. Continue to pass it around for Conway. There's a 3 from Klassen. Not too far away from Wilber-Claytonia's first bucket. Trevor Kapke picks up the loose change. I think he went over the baseline in so doing.
I believe that's right.
Our first quarter tonight is brought to you by John Henry's. Our family serving yours. Halfway through it, Wilber-Claytonia is still looking for their first field goal of the season. And they won the game last year, won the last couple of these all-time matchups. They have a slight lead in the all-time series. Good move by Conway, setting up Smith for a 3. That won't go, and there's a push and a foul as Werner tried to snare the rebounds.
Yeah, they're going to get Werman right there.
That's 2 on Jason Werman.
Yeah, kind of gave him a push at the end of that, trying to get that rebound. And foul trouble is the name of the game here in the first quarter. Both teams kind of struggling with it.
No question. And you hinted at it with 2 minutes gone. We're now 4 minutes and change gone as Werner misfires on the first. This is an opportunity for Wilber. They're only down by 8 very early stages, obviously, but they're being given an opportunity to score some points. Not without having to work. You still got to get to the foul line, but they've yet to hit a field goal and haven't hit enough free throws yet either.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're getting decent looks, in terms of shooting. They got a couple baseline shots that just wouldn't go in. But, yeah, this is definitely the time to get back in this game, being down 8.
Vossler right back onto the floor after a brief respite. Misfires for the first time. Garrett Smith with the board. They'll try it again. Sims with the spin. Sims with the step back. Sims misses it short. Zach Vossler with another offensive rebound. Leaves it off for a 3 by Henry Kapke. Too strong. Sims with another offensive rebound. They'll try it again. Ball goes flying into the Wilbur student section, and the Trojans will keep possession. Shot clock reset. 31 to shoot it again.
I mean, I think there was 4 offensive rebounds right there for Tri-County, if I'm not mistaken. And that's something, if you're Wilbur, you cannot give up 4 offensive rebounds in one possession. That's tough. You got to start boxing out. You got to start putting a body on a body.
Drew Sims had 1 or 2 of those just by himself. Smith is left open, elects to not shoot it. Sims will usually shoot it. Instead, he'll try to drive it. Flips it baseline. Vossler's right there for the slam. Welcome to Tri-County, Zach Vossler. Trojans by 10.
What a great dish off to Vossler, too. Wide open. That was the correct pass at the right time.
Conway looking for a response. Can't quite find it. Sims head of steam. Right back to Vossler. Back-to-back buckets for Zach Vossler. Set up by Drew Sims. New top duo for the Trojans coming to play in their first game together. 13-1. Second timeout called by Dan Conway and Wilber-Claytonia.
Kearney, Nebraska is the getaway you never knew you needed. With comfortable, premium lodging, eclectic shopping, and a variety of locally owned craft food and drink options, Kearney has something for everyone. By day, you'll find rich history, outdoor adventure, and some of America's most unique attractions. And by night, our many entertainment options, dazzling performances, and unique hangouts offer the perfect way to unwind. Visit Kearney. It's so much more than just in the middle.
Our storyline so far in our Game Plus tonight, Chase, has been teams have to get situated. Players have to learn how to play with each other, play together in all different roles. So far tonight, Drew Sims and Zach Bossler have shown no growing pains. They seem to know where each other is, and they seem to like playing with each other so far, as well as Henry Kapke and company forced a turnover.
Yeah, they're kind of, debuting themselves as a dynamic duo. I mean, 4 minutes in, 4.5 minutes into this first quarter, they've been pretty electric by themselves. A couple great dump-offs by Sims to Vossler, and it's been working out for them.
We knew that would be a target for Tri-County this year, to say nothing about Zach Vossler's ability, as Sims is called for a travel. But Coach Conway told me this week, in this matchup last year, we had the size advantage. This year, they have the size advantage, talking about Tri-County. And if you're Wilber-Caltonia, if you've got Aiden Zychek in the middle and Garrett Nohavik and a couple of other guys, you're going to have the size advantage. Aiden was an excellent player for this team for a couple of years, now on the football roster at UNK. So, and he was a difference maker in that matchup, and Tri-County simply did not have the personnel to match up with him. A lot of other teams could say the same thing, but not a lot of teams have the personnel to match up with Zach Vossler, which is the flip side of that coin.
Yeah, but flip side of the coin indeed, but also just knowing that you lose that guy and Wilbur has to reload, have some big shoes to fill. So it's a big question for this season of how they're going to manage without him.
That's an answer. How are they going to manage? Right there, Jamison Conway, future Briarcliff Charger. Nice fadeaway. First bucket of the season for Wilber-Caltonia.
It's a nice little fadeaway shot right there.
He's got all three of their points. Not really a surprise. 33 in the white. Sims looking to answer. I think he saw that he was going to miss it. He was already had ahead of steam looking for his own miss. Could not find it. Instead, Conway does. In the corner for Colin Cohotes, stepping into a featured role this year for Wilbur after coming off the bench all last year. Same can be said for a lot of other guys, including this guy, Avon Smith. Nearly lost it. Goes down to the floor to get to it. And a tie-up, yes.
It's great defensive effort by Tri-County. Just able to get on the floor. The hustle. You can tell that they came ready to play tonight.
The elder Sims and Kapke both combined on that one. And speaking of, here's the younger Dawson Sims making his high school debut, number 10 in the blue, marking R.J. Klassen. Vossler jumping all over the place, making vision difficult for Avon Smith, but he's still able to trigger it in. 1 minute to go in the first. Conway coughed it up. That's our first foul in a while. Not sure where all those went.
Kind of had a break in the action, and then inside 1 minute, we finally get another one.
Right on cue, right?
Yeah.
They put a 6 up on the board just to help us keep count. I think that's actually 7 in total against Tri-County in this quarter. 3 against Wilber-Caltonia, and Jamison Conway will head to the line. Yeah, we told you he's good at everything, scoring-wise. Jamison Conway, 33% from the field, 29% from 3, 76% from the line. The stat line last year for Jamison Conway, he goes 1 of 2 there.
Yeah, and when you get to the free throw line, you definitely have to make these free throws count. You want to stay north of 75% in terms of shooting from the line, and that's going to play a big part if they keep up the fouling here. Is you got to go to the line and you have to make your free shots.
Everybody else has to help contribute as well. No one else really has. And a travel against Dawson Sims. Saw it called against Drew a moment ago. Dawson guilty of the violation that time. Checking in for the first time tonight, Addison Brandt, number 12 in the white for Wilber-Caltonia, just off the bottom left of your picture right now. He makes his high school debut. Curious to see, that's really what we'll be watching for Wilber-Caltonia this year, is how all these guys evolve into their new roles. And as Coach Conway said, as you and I have already talked about, you imagine they'll look more comfortable 2 months from now than they do now. Certainly, it appears to be some growing pains on the Wolverine side of things.
Right. They're still kind of working everything out, working out the bugs, kind of finally seeing someone else in a different jersey. It plays a big part, so it'll take a bit.
Foster with the strip, set up Smits. Conway, I thought, got a piece of that shot. We'll see what the ruling is. Shot never went in. I think there will be a foul instead. Yes, there will be a foul. That's kind of it was close to the area of a goaltend. That's why I brought it up. You know the territory better than me, Chase, but that is a point of emphasis in this sport, in this state this year. goaltends and everything around it. That's not the case here. Obviously, it was a straight shooting foul, but that is something that officials will be looking at even more closely. Did a player touch the backboard? Did the ball touch the backboard?
Yeah.
All things like that. It's trying to just clear all of that up and make it more consistent.
And it's such a hard job to do because, you don't know if the ball's going in, if it touched the glass first before the defender hit it. So, I mean, it's a tough place to look at in terms of ruling and trying to figure out if you're making the right call. But I believe refs do a pretty good job, trying to make the correct call on a call that's so difficult.
Garrett Smith goes 0 for 2. Shot clock's off. Final 5 to go in the first quarter. Drew Pulliam right back onto the floor. Misfires badly. Trevor Kapke has the defensive board, and that puts a bow on a pretty strong first quarter for the Tri-County Trojans. 4 points for Jamison Conway. That's all for the Wolverines. Drew Sims and Zach Vossler have shown up so far tonight, and Tri-County with the lead. 13-4 after one quarter in the season opener for both teams. Right on cue. There it is. Sims to Vossler, not for the last time tonight.
Women have a 1 in 8 chance for developing breast cancer. Early detection makes a difference. Beatrice Community Hospital's Imaging Center can help with the latest technology, from screening with 3D mammography, breast MRI, breast ultrasound, and breast biopsy. All services conveniently located in the BCH's Imaging Center. Schedule your screening today. Incredible care, incredibly close.
I spend with purpose because I bank with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union. With my Liberty Plus checking account, I can earn extra cash just for spending on everyday things, like groceries, online or in-store purchases, and lunch. At Liberty First, anyone can join, so start earning money to spend on the things you love. Start banking with purpose. Start banking with Liberty First Credit Union.
Start of the second quarter and the kickoff to the 2025-26 high school basketball season across the state of Nebraska. Something like 90 girls games and 90 boys games being played all around the state here tonight. Thanks for joining us for this one. Drew Sims had a clear look, could not quite get it to go. Made 8 field goals when these two teams faced off last year. Was the game's leading scorer, but took 20-plus shots to get to those 20-plus points. So true volume score for this team, but again, it's the ability to do a lot of different things and do them all really well. There's a steal. Caleb Schnelly, one-on-one with the finish. Caleb Schnelly stealing the deal to start the second quarter.
How about the sophomore getting in the passing lane, able to get that ball tipped just enough to give him space to take it all the way for a left-hand layup.
Conway now operates with the left hand. Sims marks him. Haven't really seen those two go toe-to-toe necessarily on this half of the floor. Drew Pulliam sets up shot for Avon Smith. Too strong. Nobody else has been able to find it yet for Wilber-Caltonia.
Yeah, it's been a dry spell on offense for Wilber-Caltonia. Not being able to just find good looks. I mean, that one was wide open three. Conway had to make a fader just to go in.
Great points. That's their only field goal.
Also, you got to credit Tri-County's defense, just suffocating.
Here's Sims, and that's a tough shot, and he's able to get it to go.
He's so good at just driving to the basket and able to go up with a soft touch.
Ball goes spiraling into the Tri-County student section to our left. With a clang as well. Looks like everybody's okay. Fortunately, subs coming in for both sides. Our second quarter is supported by Steve Carper and the crew at O Street Carpets. A lot of basketball action coming your way here on NCN over the next couple of days. This is a Thursday night contest. A turnover right into the hands of Sims. We got games the next 2 nights to bring you as well. 2-on-2. Drew Sims swatted away from behind by Avon Smith. Seen a lot of fouls called so far in this game, partner, but that one seemed like a sensible one to me.
Absolutely. He definitely did a reach around, tried to pop the ball out last second. Just look how fast he gets down the lane. I mean, he went coast to coast in about 3 seconds, it felt like.
Up top for Vossler. Has some range to his game. Certainly not the range that Drew Sims does, though many in this part of the state do. Right back down to Vossler. No, he's the one that touched it last. Let's talk a little bit more about him. If you saw Tri-County versus EMF football earlier this year on NCN. I talked about the storyline there. It was a homecoming game for Zach Fossler. He was injured, not able to play that game, so ruined some of that storyline, right? But how about this as an impact gets? It's like a college sports narrative when you can bring in an impact transfer like this, right? Like, I'm finding it hard to believe that we're talking about it from a high school perspective, as Brock Young did so much to hold on to that possession, ends up coughing it up. But for Tri-County, you can bring in a guy like Zach Fossler, and that's his goal, is to give himself the opportunity to move on from here, play sports in college too. But if you're Caleb Armstrong for football or in the athletic department, Jeremy Sims for basketball or for track and field squad as well, you get the chance to add a guy like Zach Fossler, you're not going to turn that away.
No, you're not going to say no. Absolutely not. He's just an all-around athlete, and he's the biggest guy on the court for Tri-County. So you added a great basketball player and just, an exceptional athlete that can do so much for your teams, for your school, for your community. I mean, he's just a great athlete and a better human being.
It's a big loss for EMF as well. I know those coaches fairly well as well, especially for their run to the basketball state tournament last year. Sims leaves it up. Vossler swats at it, nearly got it to stick, but could not.
Looks like Sims was trying to throw a lob right at the end of that play. That would have been nuts if that would have went out.
Thought he was looking for Schnelly on the far side, but Vossler was in the middle, between the hashes, if you will, and got his palm to it, but not a lot there.
Right.
Offenses have dried up for both teams, and right on cue, here's a foul. It was 13-4 after the first quarter, and so far through 3 minutes, we've seen 3 points scored.
Yeah.
4 points scored. My math's off.
It's okay. Kind of been a defensive stalemate as Werman's going to pick up his third foul. Man. He's going to sit.
And that's got to be, for Wilber-Caltonia, you just got to imagine, we got to hang in there because those fouls continue to mount for Tri-County.
Absolutely.
Timeout on the floor. We'll keep it right here. 5:06 to go until halftime. Be sure to stick around for our halftime show. Our halftime highlights will be brought to you by Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Our halftime show is brought to you by RMV Construction. Trusted, local, and proven. RMV Construction, located in Kearney and Lincoln. There's a lot coming up for us here on NCN over the next couple of days. This is just the table setter, the appetizer course. Figured it would be a fun game, and so far we've had a fun night here in Wilber.
Absolutely.
No question about it, but a lot more games to bring you between now and the end of March, right? But certainly between now and the end of the weekend. 2 more games, 2 more locations, I should say, tomorrow night, and then games on Saturday as well. A lot of fun to come here on NCN. Thank you for joining us for it here tonight. Many thanks to the folks here at Wilber for their hospitality. Been here a couple of times for different sports over the last year and change, Chase, and it's a ton of fun. Tri-County folks do a really good job as well. So these are smaller schools, if you will.
Yeah.
This is C1 versus C2 here tonight. Wilber's the bigger one. Garrett Schmidt with the steal. He's all alone, and Garrett Schmidt on the board in his sophomore season. Another takeaway. This is looking like the girls' game all of a sudden.
I know. Tri-County's just getting in the passing lanes, creating turnovers, swiping away at the ball, and it's working out for them right now. Their defense turning into offense.
Right on cue. Defense, great collapse defense underneath against Klassen. Springs the trap the other way. Sims with the sling for Schnelly. Right back to Sims, 4-3. Side iron, no good. Kind of ruins that flow, but the ball will tip into the hands of Sims, and a couple of Trojans go down spiraling. There will be a foul against Jamison Conway because of it. Seems sensible to me.
There was kind of a scuffle trying to go for that basketball on the rebound. Looks like they're going to get Conway for a foul. That's his second. So something to keep in mind of.
4:20 to go until halftime. Sims needs an outlet. Has one in the form of Smith. Right back to Drew Sims. This time he misfires. Vossler goes over looking for the rebound. Can't find it. Brock Young had the positioning. Much less seasoned player wins the battle on that occasion.
That was also just a really good block out there. Able to get the separation he needs. Got the over and back call. That's what you want out of your interior players, trying to rebound for the basketball.
These two teams faced off to open the season last year. I was fortunate enough to be at that matchup just 15 minutes or so south of where we are right now in DeWitt. Wilber-Caltonia won that game 64-43. Tri-County scored single digits in 3 of the 4 quarters in that game. So Wolverine defense was certainly the story of that one as a carry against Colin Cohote with 4 minutes to go. Sims scored 29 points. I was hinting at it earlier. That was by far the game high, but it was 8 of 21 shooting. So 21 field goal attempts to get to those 29 points.
It's a guy that he's not afraid to shoot the basketball. And, He'll live and die by his shots and his three-point shooting capabilities. But, it's not a bad thing when he has the basketball in his hands.
And frankly, that was just the reality for Tricounty last year, is they didn't have anybody else that joined him in the scoring. They've had more depth here, and Caleb Schnelly is going to add to it. Good setup by Trevor Kapke, and Caleb Schnelly knocks down the three.
And Schnelly just wide open over there in the corner on the far side. Great pass underneath the basket. Able to get that three-pointer to go. 4
different players have scored so far for Tri-County tonight. Sims with 7, Schnelly now with 5, Vossler with 8, and Garrett Smith with the 2 just a moment ago. So already more depth scoring for Tri-County compared to last year, but obviously you can track that right back to the influx of Zach Vossler into this team. That helps a ton.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Everyone else for Tri-County in that matchup last year, we told you, Sims, 29 points on 8 of 21 shooting. Everyone else scored 14 on 5 of 19 shooting.
Wow.
It's just so slow going for everybody else at the offense, and Sims just had to kind of shoulder the whole load, if you will, and did what he could to keep his team afloat, but did not have the firepower to sustain what Jamison Conway and Aiden Zaitchik and Garen Ohavik and a couple of other people were able to do in the matchup last year. Dan Conway saves his team as Avon Smith very nearly fell over the timeline, gets the timeout in right in time. 3:14 to go until halftime here on News Channel Nebraska.
This broadcast is brought to you by Western Oil. Make your first and last stop to and from the game at your nearest Speedy Mart or Good to Go convenience stores today. And by News Channel Nebraska. Want to know which games we're televising each week? Follow us on X at NCN Sports.
Anything for the floor, O Street Carpet has it and more. From little feet to little paws, to updates and overhauls. From soft and cozy to durable and resilient. From something that blends in or something that's different. From DIY to custom install, O Street Carpet can help you with it all. Whatever your needs are for the floor, O Street Carpet has it and more.
It's cold outside, but once you get to this point of the calendar, games start coming in hot and frequent. It's a busy start to the year for these two schools, these 4 teams that we're seeing on this floor tonight. Wilber-Caltonia is going to play again tomorrow. Tri-County makes a road trip again on Saturday, so a lot of games to be played in a very short period of time. A whistle. Wow. Crew Pulliam can't hold on to it. A giveaway for Wilber-Caltonia after the timeouts.
Yeah, I believe he stepped on the baseline right there. Looks like the ref on the floor kind of caught him in action. And that's another turnover. And Wilber's kind of been turning over the ball a little bit too much here in the first half.
No doubt about it. Haven't been able to get situated, it feels like. Henry Kapke lost in the trees, finds an outlet in the form of Luke Katz, freshman making his high school debut. Sims with the spin around Pulliam. Kisses it off, glass and good. 9 points in the first half for Drew Sims. Tri-County leads by 20.
He's just so good with using that spin move to his advantage, able to get separation off of the spin, and another turnover by Wilber-Caltonia here.
Pulliam's pass behind freshman Addison Brandt, and Wolverines simply not getting enough shot attempts, much less shots made.
No, it looks like they just can't really set up their offense. They've been kind of getting the ball turned over, getting some turnovers off steals. Tri-County's been in the passing lane. It just feels like not a lot's going well right now in terms of offense for Wilber.
Still time, but yeah, certainly not a lot of progress being made. Late decision, they'll count the bucket for Sims. Waiting to see what they would rule, and a foul on top of it against Brandt.
Again, it's just driving to the basket, able to get caught with a body call by Warner at the end of that layup.
13-0 the edge for Tri-County in this second quarter. Wolverines have yet to score. We've only got 2:15 to go. Conway trying to change that. He's left open, did not miss it by much. That kind of night. Good offensive rebound by Brent. Now it's Pulliam's turn. He didn't miss that by much. Almost halfway down, and it popped right back out. And brutal break for the Wolverines on back-to-back good looks from the same spot on the floor. Sims right back to work. He gets bodied, elevated up the whole way by Hayden Warner. You almost got to wonder if Warner doesn't even have
Does he even have to jump right there? He's 6'8". He might as well just put his hands up.
I was going to ask you if you agree with the call. It looked like the right one for me. He was kind of out of sorts, right?
Yeah,
but
he did leave the feet, so that is going to be a foul. But, man, if I was 6'8", I'd just be sitting with my hands up the whole time.
I can't even envision what that must be like. Drew Sims now with 12 points as he makes the free throw. We talked to you about Conway being able to score in all phases. Sims is certainly that same way as he goes 2 of 2. Got a game-high 13 points, 44% from the field, 37% from 3, and 77% from the line last year. The slash line for Drew Sims. 2 minutes to go. There's Conway, who's still got all of his team's points, and unfortunately he's got a turnover there. He looks right. He doesn't look disheartened as Jamison Conway, which is a great sign. He trots right back in and gets set up on defense. But again, it's a possession where Wolverines don't even get a shot attempts.
Right, they don't even get a look at the rim and just leave it empty-handed. They've had a few too many of those in the first half.
No doubt about it. It's really started to pile up. Kapke spins around, and somehow Henry Kapke is able to navigate and sneak that shot in past Conway. 30-4. A 17-0 edge so far here in the second quarter. Conway lost the handle. No, somehow holds on to it around Warner. Kicks it into the corner for Pulliam. One more touch for Avon Smith. Nice cut. Didn't shoot it. Right back up. Can't get that to go, though.
Not a bad look, though, if you're Avon Smith. I mean, that's one of the few looks you've got at the rim this game right so far.
No doubts. 1 minute to go. Tri-County will settle it down now. Got a lot of different guys that can shoot from range to Tri-County. Henry Kapke's one of them. Bounce pass by Schnelly. Somehow finds his way into the hands of Drew Sims. One touch for Vossler. Can't get it to go, but he's wise.
I mean, that's just so hard to defend Vossler down low. He had 2 guys defending him right there. And then Sims able to get the pass to him, able to go up strong with it, get the foul called, and he's got 2 shots at the line.
He's a guy that's not only is a multi-sport standout in Zach Vossler, but he's got a lot of different abilities here in this particular sport, to be sure. Made him a difference maker at his previous school, as we just outlined a moment ago. Hits that first free throw. He's got 9 now in his Tri-County debut. He's got 9. Sims has 14, or make it 13. 22 of their 31 between those two.
Pretty impressive for a first showing.
And again, first time playing together.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And it's been working together for the last month, right? But especially with Vossler recovering from his injury in the football season. But still, this is their first official game together. Pretty impressive. 30 seconds to go in the half. Can Conway and company draw up something? 20 to shoot. Smith lost the handle. He'll keep possession. Nobody on the 2-hour left. You can just see them on the bottom left of your viewing picture. I don't think any of them agreed.
No, I was kind of wondering too. Smith kind of lost it out of bounds, but they say it touched by Tri-County.
20 seconds to play in the half. Young gets it to Conway. Right back to Pulliam. Slices. Back up to Conway. In stride for 3. Can't get it to go, but he's hit on the arm. And Jamison Conway will have a chance to deliver the Wolverines their first points of the quarter with 11 seconds to go.
That was a pretty good look there. He did, in fact, get fouled by Kapke. He did get hit on the arm right there during the shot. So we will have 3 attempts at the line. Able to get some more points before the end of the break.
He got it. That snaps a 19-0 Tri-County run between the end of the first quarter and the start of this one.
Wow.
Frankly, all at the start of this one, because Wilber-Caltonia scored the final 3 points of the first quarter. So Tri-County had scored all 19 in this quarter prior to these free throws from Jamison Conway. We told you he was going to be a difference maker for this team, but didn't expect he was going to score 100% of his team's points.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's trying to put the team on his back. He's trying to slowly get him back into it. And we talked about the foul trouble. Sometimes you just got to wait it out and then jump at the opportunity.
There will be a lot of opportunity for Wilber-Caltonia in the second half with all those fouls, no doubt. 3 seconds to go. Here's Sims. He'll cut. He'll finger roll. He will score before the buzzer. A brilliant first half for Zach Vossler, for Drew Sims, and for the entire Tri-County squad. Wow. The Trojans with a massive lead at the first half break. 34-6, Tri-County on top in the season opener. 2 more for Drew Sims, a game-high 15.
Other companies have the revolving door. Every time we come into Schaefer's, it's always the same people. And the big thing to me is they know you by name. They know who you are, which makes a person like myself feel just warm and welcome here. And that's what's great about Schaefer's.
Schaefer's has the essential Whirlpool appliances you need, from refrigerators and air fry ranges to laundry pairs to keep your clothes clean and sanitized at everyday low prices. At Schaefer's, we are more than just TVs and appliances.
Our halftime show is proudly presented by RMV Construction. Trusted, local, proven. RMV Construction.
20 kids, 1 SUV, and 1 mission. Snacks. Speedy Mart is where the snack squad rolls deep. Whether it's before the first pitch or after the final out, we've got drinks, treats, and all the fuel to keep your team going strong. Speedy Mart convenience stores. Quick, convenient, and always ready when the team rolls in. Speedy Mart. Snack strong, play strong.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during their early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for high-quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
A strong start to the 2025 season for Tricounty in this local rivalry match. It's all Trojans at the halftime break. They hold Wilber-Caltonia to just 6 points over the first 2 quarters, and they have a 34-6 lead. Tim Hackett and Chase Wilkinson back here with you live inside the gym in Wilber, Nebraska. Happy to have you with us. Many thanks to all of you for joining us here tonight on News Channel Nebraska. Let's look at some first half stats, Chase. Unfortunately for Wilber-Caltonia, pretty easy to read this out. 6 points for Jamison Conway. That's it.
Yeah, he's been their only source of offense so far. He's gotten to the line a couple times, getting fouled in the process of shooting. But, I mean, it just seems like Wilber can't get anything going on offensively. And I wrote down everything going right for Tricounty, everything going wrong for Wilber-Caltonia right now.
I think that's a fair way to sum it up.
And, defense, they haven't really got the stops. Sims have been driving to the basket pretty easily, and he dumps it off to Vossler pretty well. And then Tricounty also just getting the amount of steals and forcing turnovers for Wilber-Caltonia. I mean, it's something their coaches are going to have to talk about at the break. But they need to start scoring, obviously, and it needs to happen quick.
On the flip side for Tricounty, we talk about dynamic duo. You got some high-low action. You've got them playing together and playing off of each other. It starts and ends so far here tonight with Drew Sims and Zach Vossler. Sims with 15, Vossler with 10. Easy math even I can do. They've combined for 25 of their team's 34 points in their first half playing a real game together.
And you kind of wondered, is this going to be the second part of a dynamic duo? I wouldn't go that far, but I'd say they're complementing each other well in terms of basketball. I mean, Sims, when he's not driving, he can just dump it off to Vossler down the lane, and it's been working so far. They've been hooking up a lot of times, and it's going well. It's going well for Tricounty right now.
You got some depth scoring as well. 2 from Henry Kapke, 2 from Garrett Schmidt, and 5 for Caleb Schnelly. It's time now to look at our first half highlights. They're brought to you by Sartor Heyman Jewelers, stunning engagement collections, exceptional diamonds, and dazzling gemstones. They can all be found at their Lincoln and Grand Island locations. Big halftime lead for Tricounty. Let's take a look at how they got there. Those 2 guys we just told you about getting involved early. Zach Vossler with the first points of the season for his new team. Talk about making an early impression.
Yeah, just getting position down low. It's a good little floating pass, able to put it on the money. That's an easy 2 points for Vossler, almost too easy.
Off the inbound, Sims with the pass. Vossler returns fire. And speaking of fire, Drew Sims fires away for 3.
He's been kind of hot all night from three-point land. I don't intend on that stopping.
Off another inbound, Sims with the takeaway against Jamison Conway. 2 featured players for these 2 squads, and Drew Sims a difference maker once again. Right back to number 1 in the blue. There's that dump off that you were talking about. Look out below, Zach Vossler with the 2-hand jam.
That's what makes it so versatile is when Sims, when he's not driving the lane or when he gets stopped, He can dump it off to Vossler at any time, and Vossler slams it home.
On the very next possession, thought we might have back-to-back, James, but Vossler took the slightly easier way up and just tapped it in with two hands that time, but back-to-back buckets for him. Here's a look at the only field goal of the first half made by Wilber-Caltonia, and it was a nice one, courtesy of a very talented scorer in Jamison Conway.
Yeah, it was a great fadeaway shot. Like you said, the only field goal of the game for Wilber-Caltonia, but it was pretty.
Garrett Schmidt's getting involved. One of the Trojans' top running backs racing down the length of the floor for the bucket, his first of the season. And then it's Kapke to Schnelly for three. And one final punctuation mark on an explosive first half for Tricounty. Jamison Conway doing what he can, hitting a couple of free throws. He scored all 6 of his team's first half points. Nowhere near enough, however, and it's Tricounty with a 34-6 edge at the halftime break here on News Channel Nebraska.
From the heart of Nebraska to across the state, RMV Construction is building more than just structures. We're building trust. RMV Construction has grown from humble beginnings to become a trusted name across central Nebraska and beyond. With unmatched craftsmanship, cutting-edge innovation, and an unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction, we deliver projects on time, on budget, and above expectations. Trusted, local, proven. RMV Construction in Kearney and Lincoln. Let's build your vision together. This broadcast is brought to you by 41 Auto Parts in Wilbur, Brad Christian Insurance in Claytona, and by First Tri-County Bank, member FDIC.
Welcome back inside Wilber, Nebraska. A warm welcome to you on a chilly Thursday night. Southeast Nebraska is once again the scene of the start of the 2025-26 high school basketball season. We're watching it live here on News Channel Nebraska. A lot more games still to come before the end of the week. We'll tell you about that in a second. First of all, we want to tell you about our halftime presentation. It's proudly presented by RMV Construction. It's trusted, local, and proven. That's RMV Construction. If you have a construction project that needs to be built, RMV Construction is the company you need to call. Tonight we're featuring the beautiful Yanni Park Pavilion in Kearney, Nebraska. A $3.7 million project RMV Construction has recently completed. RMV built this 3,600 square foot event space which features a catering kitchen, wraparound patio, and fire pit area. Every detail shows the care and quality that RMV puts into their work. Whether it's a community space, commercial project, or something totally unique, trust the team that brought the Yanni Pavilion to life. RMV Construction, with offices in Kearney and Lincoln. Trusted, local, and proven. RMV Construction. Tri-County has really constructed a brilliant first half, no question about it. Looks as beautiful as that pavilion does, and they're going to be happy with a 34-6 lead. We've got 2 broadcasts here for you on this Thursday night, and a lot more still to come over the next couple of days for us, but also for everybody here on News Channel Nebraska. We've got our first split location site tomorrow. Some of our crew are going to head up north to see Plainview versus Wausau. Some of our crew will head, well, not south, just a little bit to the east of where we are now to Firth to see Bellevue West versus Norris. Plainview versus Wausau is a girls-boys doubleheader like this one is. Bellevue West versus Norris is a boys-only game. That's the reason for the difference in start time.
That'll be a very good game. I'm pretty excited to watch that one tomorrow night. That's going to be one to watch.
I got to see Norris a couple of times last year. They were in the state tournament in both boys and girls basketball last year. Bring a lot of talent back.
Yes.
I don't know as much about Bellevue West, but that is going to be a prime time matchup with 2 bigger class schools, 2 of the larger schools at least.
Absolutely. That's going to be a great matchup.
And then there's bowling coming your way here on NCN next Monday. That is going to be a ton of fun. There's a look at one of the many members that helped put these broadcasts together. Front of the program. Hello. Where are you going to be the rest of this week?
Where am I going to be?
Yeah, what game are you on next?
Tomorrow, Norris.
You're going to the Norris game? Oh, he's going to be at the Norris game, so he's going to be in for a treat. I'm seeing Meridian versus Dorchester, so some smaller schools here in the southern part of the state, not too far from the west, to the west of where we are right now in Dakin. The Dorchester girls were state runners-up last year, so excited to see them in action to start off the 2025 season. There's all different ways that you can stay up to date with what we're doing here on NCN. Follow us on social media. Just talking on the NCN sports side. It says nothing about everything else that we are endeavoring to put out as a group and as an organization. It's been a privilege to be a part of this thing over the last year or so. We're excited to be a part of this operation as we start the high school basketball season. Great to be here with you as well, Chase. You are always a floor below me for Doane football games, and great to be sitting next to you for the first time here tonight.
Absolutely, it's an honor, and I'm having a blast so far. Two pretty good and pretty eventful games so far.
No question about it. Let's see if Wilber-Caltonia can make this game a little bit more eventful than they have. Jamison Conway will try to. Can't quite get it to go. Again, he made every shot, only field goal, right, that Wilber-Caltonia made in that first half, all 6 points. Tricounty leads 34-6 as we start the second half. Nice slice and dice and a finish for Caleb Schnelly. What a difference maker he's been.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a big three-pointer in the first half, and he goes in and drives into the lane, little floater. He's emerging as a pretty good player here for this Tri-County team.
Somebody we knew was a great player is Sims. Misses the layup, but Vossler was almost there for the putback dunk. He couldn't get it to go. Schnelly with the great lead. The great read. He will lead for Vossler. He can't get that roll to go either, and Drew Sims was the last to touch. Man, 2 point-blank misses for Zach Vossler. Not something I expected, I would say.
If Vossler would have connected and brought that ball down and dunked it, that student section over to our left would have erupted.
Tell me, was that done by design by Drew Sims? I don't think he's ever going to try to miss a shot, right?
He's going to tell you he did it on purpose, but I don't know. I don't know what the truth is right there.
I'm not sure. You could easily say it either way. Almost all's well that ends well, but unfortunately for Tri-County, did not end well for them on that occasion, though frankly most things have for them so far tonight. Just underway here in the third quarter. The Wolverines are back at home right here tomorrow against H&H. And if you're listening to that and thinking, what is he talking about? That's because that is a brand new co-op squad, H&H. It's Heartland and Hampton playing together for the first time. They're in action tonight, but they will be here in this gym to take on Wilber-Caltonia tomorrow night. Tri-County will make a longer road trip than they have tonight, but not a super long road trip to take on Superior on Saturday. Shot clock running down. Pretty good look for Brock Young at the end of that timer. And he once again cannot get it to fall. Story of the night so far for the Wolverines.
Yeah, it's been tough for them to find a bucket. I think they've been getting better looks for the second half so far. That was a pretty wide open three-pointer, just didn't go in. But you definitely want those open looks, and sometimes it's just not your night in shooting. But you can't that just doesn't mean you can't give up.
Sims spins around, and he doesn't give up on that occasion.
Absolutely.
Second effort for Drew Sims, 17 points to lead all players.
He's had such a good night in just controlling when and how he wants to drive into the lane. He's so good at just slicing through the defense and getting the shot he wants inside.
I feel like sometimes we rely too heavily on stats as broadcasters and as media members that don't tell the whole story. It's certainly not just talking about points that doesn't tell the whole story in this sport specifically, but I mean, it bears underscoring even further what Drew Sims has done. Not every school last year had stats on max preps. Every school now in the state of Nebraska does, but among all schools with stats on max preps is Wilber-Caltonia is finally able to get on the board. There's Brock Young with his first points of the season. Nicely done. Snaps a long Tri-County run. First points for Wilber-Caltonia since that couple of free throws for Jamison Conway. Last point as I monologue here on Drew Sims. He was third in the state in scoring last year, 24.5 among schools that had stats public. 24.5 points per game. That's an impressive number.
That's very impressive, and especially in high school. And it doesn't matter what class you are. If you're putting up 24 points a game, regardless of class, that is definitely something you star and you keep an eye on for the rest of the year. He was a special player last year. I don't see anything changing this year.
He's a known commodity at this point, but that doesn't mean he's easy to game plan against, as Wilber-Caltonia has seen firsthand. Young, nice turnaround pass. Crew Pulliam, 4-3. Pretty good look once again. That's more like it from this Wilber offense. Just couldn't find the finish. Transition. Sims for Trevor Kapke. And Trevor Kapke on the board here in 2025.
Sims, just a great head-up play. Just to bounce past it right to Kapke for an easy layup. And that's how Drew Sims operates. When he's not scoring, he's setting up other people to score.
Conway with an open look. Couldn't get it to go, though. That's running out of ways to say it. Unfortunately for Wilber-Caltonia, they've had looks, just have not been able to find it.
Right.
4:40 to go in the third. Sims keystones into the corner. Schnelly again, and another setup by Drew Sims. Schnelly converts. He's got 10 points. Wilber-Caltonia down 45-8, and the Wolverines will call it timeouts. 4:30 to go in the third quarter. Drew Sims the score and also the setup. Trevor Kapke and Caleb Schnelly on the receiving end. 45-8, Tri-County.
This broadcast is brought to you by Sunland Seed. Mike Holtmeyer, your Pioneer Seed Rep with Sunland Seed of Beatrice. Precision Dental in Crete. And by Tri-County Public Schools. NCN Sports is brought to you by Husker Rehab, treating the cause of the pain, not just the symptoms. By Schaefer's, we are more than just TVs and appliances. And by Claybaugh Pharmacy, your locally owned hometown pharmacy.
Everybody's all decked out for the start of basketball season here at tail end of 2025.
Is that the Cookie Monster off to the left right there?
Is it too soon to say that they're ready to put Wilber-Caltonia to sleep?
There you go.
Wearing the pajama pants?
I guess.
Ready to put this game to rest?
Or they just didn't want to dress up for the game.
It's business casual on a Thursday nights. We're almost at the 40-point plateau, which I was not expecting we would see here in our first game of the season. Certainly not in this game. Smith trying to change that. Avon Smith for Warner. Can't get it to go. Almost had his own miss. Going down to try to find it. Scrapping for it is Warner, but digging it out just Jason Werman. And he's back the other way. Nice move and pass nearly intercepted. Smith controls. Sims will just settle it down. Gets the call out from Jeremy Sims. Now Drew will fire a three, and he knocks it down.
What a shot.
Tri-County by 40. And our official just confirms running clock in effect for the rest of the night. Unreal.
Wow. I mean, I never expected that to happen. There's Sims again.
He steals it. Drew Sims misfires as he tried it halfway between a dunk. Sets the table for Justice Werman. To the top for Smith. Man, tried a late decision for a highlight reel play. Schnelly misfires on the three. Here's Werman again. Passed right into the clutches, though, of R.J. Klassen. Back the other way. Crew Pulliam for Smith. Back for Conway. Popped free briefly by Sims. Conway controls. Klassen tries to duck around Werman, and a foul has been given. So if you're new to the sport, this is your first game of the year. Of course it is. It's everybody's first game of the year, right?
Right.
I had to double check the running clock rules.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure they would come into effect, but I've learned my lesson from other sports. Got to be prepared. And if a team goes up by 40 points or more at any point in the second half, the clock runs consistently for the rest of the game. Only exceptions are if there is a timeout, if there is an injury, or at the end of the third quarter. Nice move for Hayden Warner. Hasn't played a ton over his Wilber-Caltonia career, and he is on the board to start his senior season.
That's got to feel good, just getting an easy bucket inside, getting to double digits. I know that sounds crazy in the third quarter, but, I mean, you never want to see this kind of game unfold.
Dawson Sims, yes! Welcome to the league, Dawson Sims. Tri-County freshman with his first varsity points. The Trojans have hit the half-century mark, and Wilber-Caltonia is stuck on 10. This is a stunner, to say the least, in that capacity. Dawson Sims ripping it away. Good effort against the much bigger and the much more experienced Hayden Warner. Did all he could to try to win the possession. I think he's going to be called for a foul. Tough break for him. Late stages of the third quarter, which is brought to you by Husker Rehab, treating the cause of the pain, not just the symptoms. A lot of symptoms for Dan Conway to try to prescribe against here. Jamison Conway for three. Side iron, no. Warner's got the board. Right back to work against Schmidt. Counted in the foul for Hayden Warner. All right. Wilber-Caltonia's got a force down low.
Yeah, it's about time. He's going to use his 6'8" frame to his advantage. Just shoulder bumps to the right side, backs him down, gets fouled in the process, has a chance for another point at the free throw line.
Spell out our point earlier, the clock will continue to run. If this were in the first quarter, for example, obviously the clock would be stopped after a made bucket because Tri-County was up by 40 as Warner gets it to roll in. Even though Tri-County is no longer up by 40, Wilber-Caltonia is within 40 to put it better. The clock will never stop running until there's an injury, a timeout, or the end of this period. 1 minute left until we get to that point. Well, Wilber-Caltonia scored more in this quarter than they did over the first two. Unfortunately for them, it's going to be too little too late. Kapke in stride, back iron, And an offensive rebound snared by freshman Luke Katz. Going to be an opportunity for a lot of Trojans to see some extended time. Kapke into the corner for Dawson Sims. Toes the baseline and literally toed the baseline on that occasion. Stepped on it. Wilber-Caltonia will take possession. Not a lot of time left.
Yeah, you see Wilber-Caltonia went to a zone there because the three-point was kind of hurting them in terms of, just giving up a lot of points from behind the arc. Going to the zone there works out in their favor.
15 seconds to play. Conway navigates the trees. Sets it up for Avon Smith. Gets a screen from Conway. Nearly lost the handle. Finds Pulliam with 6. Crew Pulliam attacks. Can't stick it. Warner with the putback. Flings it up. Won't go. Pulliam gets the ball. And there will be a foul first as the period ends. So count the foul against Crew Pulliam. That will be his third. And that will bring us to the end of the third. One more quarter to play in the season debut for these two squads. All Tri-County so far tonight. 51-13. The Trojans on top.
This broadcast is brought to you by Carpashek's Market in Wilbur, home of the Wilbur Wiener, and by Downtown Family Vision in Wilbur.
I spend with purpose because I bank with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union. With my Liberty Plus checking account, I can earn extra cash just for spending on everyday things, like groceries, online or in-store purchases, and lunch. At Liberty First, anyone can join, so start earning money to spend on the things you love. Start banking with purpose. Start banking with Liberty First Credit Union.
Tri-County off to a strong start here to kick off the 2025-26 campaign. This is a known commodity in this part of the state in boys basketball and indeed in some other sports, but Jeremy Sims at the helm for the last half dozen years. They have turned this thing into a real strong system. Last year was a down year for them, working into a lot of different things, and so far they're sure looking like they're trying to leave last year in the dust. 9-15 last year, Chase. Those their fewest wins, their worst year, if you will, since 2016-2017. So half dozen years prior to that was the last time they finished south of 10 wins on the season. Good look for Luke Katz. Couldn't stick it. Defensive rebound for R.J. Klassen. That year they went 9-14, so almost the exact same record as that 9-15 mark from last year. In the 7 years since that season, 2016-2017, the most losses they had in a year was 9. So, again, double-digit wins every single time. 6 losses was typically what they maxed out about. And, of course, 2 seasons prior to that, 3 seasons ago now, the 2022-23 season, they went 24-6 and finished 4th at the state tournament at the C2 level. So this is a known commodity. To see them playing this well is not a surprise. The results last year were the outlier.
Yeah, and it was kind of a little bump in the road, and so to speak, for Tri-County's basketball team. But it looks like this year they're starting off the right way in terms of basically everything. I mean, they've had a whole complete game. They got defensive stops. They held them to 13 points so far.
Crazy.
They're just doing everything right, so to speak.
Wilber-Caltonia scored 45.5 points per game last year, allowed 46.5 points per game. You don't need me to tell you that these are not the numbers that they are used to seeing. Foul was against Addison Brandt. That's his third. Henry Kapke, first trip to the free throw line tonight. Wilber will bring in Truett Stows. He makes his season debut, number 30 in the whites. Henry Kapke, a solid all-around shooter for this team. And right on cue, pops out his second free throw. Rebound out of the hands of Logan Dack, but he's able to haul it in. A bit of a different-looking fivesome on the floor for Dan Conway's squad as they continue to work in a ton of new guys. We talked about it in the first half, Chase, as the ball tipped out of bounds by Justice Werman. It bears spelling out even more for Wilber-Caltonia. They lost 4 key seniors and 1 or 2 other guys, headlined by Aiden Zychek, and there were a couple of other guys that made differences and were regulars, key starters for this team last year, and for in some of their cases for a couple of years. Nice cut by Brandt. Warner gets tied up. Looks like there will be a foul instead with 5.5 to go and counting. Fouls have started to dwindle a little bit compared to how this game started.
Right.
Luke Katz called for that foul. So most guys tonight, as we told you, for Wilber-Caltonia, they were top reserves last year. Smith played in 17 games. Pulliam played in 16. Cohope played in 12. Brock Young was their starting center. He appeared in 5. last year behind the standout Aiden Zajac and others. So these are just simply guys that have not had a ton of varsity experience. And that was the situation that Tri-County was in the previous year.
Right.
With a ton of guys that didn't have a ton of varsity experience. Guys like Henry Kapke, Jason Werman. These are now starters this year. They hadn't been starters before. All had to learn how to play in that role. And that's the situation that Wilber finds itself in.
Absolutely. You know, and it's a couple of years the teams go in swings. So you'll have 2 really good years, and you'll have some people graduate, and then you got to refill those shoes. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that easily, and you'll have a down year where you might have a losing record. You might be around 500, and then but the positive of having those down years is you get a lot of playing time to a bunch of kids who usually don't have that opportunity, and that just helps you for next year getting some playing time, getting comfortable in a game. And you see it from Tri-County here, a lot of playing time from last year, and it's paying off.
Luke Katz misfires from close range. Wilber-Caltonia doesn't want to have these conversations or these thoughts right now. Great finish for Addison Brandt.
Yeah.
His first points as a varsity player. Nicely done. That Wilber doesn't want to have these conversations right now. It's December 4th. It's game 1. They've got another 20 or so left on the schedule, bare minimum, right? So,
right.
But even still, to flash forward a little bit, there are only 2 seniors on the roster.
Yeah.
Conway is obviously the featured player, as we know. He'll be at Briarcliff next year. Hayden Warner's the only other senior on the roster. So after this year, all of these guys who are first-time starters will, in theory, have a full season under their belt as starters. So they're all, if they do come back next year, they will have that wealth of experience that they simply don't. It's a dearth of experience right now,
right.
But they can continue to build up those cash reserves.
Right, absolutely. And, if you're Wilber-Caltonia right now, you'd probably just want to flush this game right down, get it out of the way. Don't even think about it. Don't even watch film over it. And just kind of reset the season again and be like, okay, that game didn't happen. We gotta work on a lot of things. And, it's tough, but also you got to go through it. And after taking this hard loss, you got to look forward to is the next one and trying to get better at practice.
As I joked with you earlier, I've talked with a lot of coaches over the last couple of days because everybody starts their season this week as Dawson Sims knocks down his second 3 of the night. Future looks bright for Tri-County as well. They're up by 40 points once again, 55-15. Impressive start for the Trojans. I have asked all these coaches, is it a challenge that so many of these schools are playing either here Thursday, Friday? Some of them are playing Thursday, Saturday, like Tri-County. A lot of them are playing Friday, Saturday. You got to play a back-to-back to start the season. Back-to-backs are tough in and of themselves, but especially when they're the first games that you have to play. I can't imagine that's easy. You have an abbreviated practice schedule for a lot of these teams. Thanksgiving last week, snow day for these 2 teams on Monday. Just less opportunity to be together. But I imagine for Wilber-Caltonia, it's not going to be physically easier to turn around as Brandt buries another 3. Nicely done by Addison Brandt. The flip side to that is that these guys have another game here tomorrow, so they have that opportunity to flush things quickly and move on.
Absolutely, and it's a whole different mindset. You got to flush this one down the drain, and worry about tomorrow's game because that's the next game you have on your schedule. Don't worry about what happened tonight. Don't worry about any of that. Worry about what you're going to do tomorrow to fix the mistakes from tonight and try to capitalize on that and come out with a win.
The Wolverines were such a up-and-down team last year. They had a couple of win streaks, if you will. One time where they won 4 in a row, but other than that, it was pretty much win-loss, alternating on the balance of the season as Schmidt drives in 2 and a foul for Garrett Schmitz. He's been a nice piece of the puzzle here for Tri-County tonight. And so with that in mind, that's how you end up at 13-13 last year for the Wolverines. Second straight year that they finished the season 13-13, interestingly enough. But that means that they have to have that same mindset. Say, all right, we lost tonight. Let's play again tomorrow and see if we can get out of here with a win.
Let's go get a win tomorrow. That's exactly what you got to do.
And meanwhile, for Tri-County, this is going to set the stage for what they hope is a return to form after a brief hiatus where they won only 9 games. Again, fewest win totals in a half-decade. Brandt can't make it 2 for 2 on that corner 3. Dawson Sims dredges out the rebound. This looks like a team that is liable to return to form if they can keep this pace up. Remember, Zach Vossler is nursing an injury from the end of the football season. Hasn't had to play this entire second half. And neither has Drew Sims or many of their other featured players, and that's just the nature of the game. Trevor Kapke airmails that pass. Wilber-Caltonia will take over one last gasp for the Wolverines. Logan Dack will inbounds. R.J. Klassen will bring it up the floor. Addison Brandt has had a big second half. And a touchdown for Truett Stills with 8. 3 on the way from Klassen. Gets it to bounce in. And the reserves making a difference for Wilber-Caltonia down the stretch, but it's not a big enough difference at all. Tricounty coasts in the season opener, and the Trojans rebound from a slow start to the season last year. They get some revenge on Wilber-Caltonia, who won by 21 last year. This time, it's all Tricounty. Your final score tonight, Tricounty 58, Wilber-Caltonia 21. The Trojans sweep this doubleheader to tip off the 2025-26 basketball season. Stick around. We've got plenty of post-game content still to come. Our post-game show is brought to you by Custom Sports, and our player of the game will be brought to you by Nebraska Orthopedic Center. Stick around. We've got plenty more still to come from Wilbur right after this. You're watching high school basketball on News Channel Nebraska.
On your way to the big game or heading home after the win, Speedy Mart is the ultimate team stop.
Stay alive! Stay alive! Stay alive! Stay alive! You're bound to stay alive at Speedy Mart.
Icy cold drinks? Check. Tasty snacks? Double check. Fast fuel and room for the whole crew? You know it.
Be aggressive! And make sure to go to Speedy Mart after the game.
Anything for the floor, O Street Carpet has it and more. From little feet to little paws, to updates and overhauls. From soft and cozy to durable and resilient. From something that blends in or something that's different. From DIY to custom install, O Street Carpet can help you with it all. Whatever your needs are for the floor, O Street Carpet has it and more.
This broadcast is brought to you by Western Oil. Make your first and last stop to and from the game at your nearest Speedy Mart or good-to-go convenience stores today. And by News Channel Nebraska. Want to know which games we're televising each week? Follow us on X at NCN Sports.
For over 40 years, Claybaugh Pharmacy has been your trusted, family-owned, full-service pharmacy. We provide traditional medical options, medical equipment, immunizations, and over-the-counter products. We take pride in going above and beyond to improve the health of our community. And to ensure you have a seamless experience, manage your profile and refills with a touch of the finger from home. Claybaugh Pharmacy in downtown Beatrice, your hometown family-owned pharmacy.
So this yellow jacket, it basically symbolizes that it's showtime.
The yellow jackets are a throwback to Monday Night Football.
The 1970s, Keith Jackson, Howard Cosell.
That was the big broadcast in the country. Now we're the big broadcast in Nebraska.
When News Channel Nebraska is covering a game, we want you to know that we take it seriously. We want to dress sharp. We have pride in what we do.
And we're going to wear those yellow jackets to show people, you know, we're a little old school, but we're also the important broadcast of the night.
When you're proud of the community you live in, taking care of the people in it isn't a job, it's an honor. At John Henry's, we take pride in being relied upon by the great people of Lincoln and the surrounding areas. A hard day's work means a happy customer, and making happy customers has been our goal all along. A team of expert plumbers, drain specialists, and HVAC professionals, dedicated to finding solutions for our customers. Because for us, a successful day ends with a handshake and a smile. John Henry's, our family serving yours.
It all starts at Big Red Motorsports in O'Neill, a side-by-side built to work with you on the farm or the ranch. A trusted partner when you're out hunting. And the adventurous speed to feel the thrill when it's time to play. Work hard, ride hard, play hard. Big Red Motorsports in O'Neill, powering your passion every step of the way.
Welcome back to Wilbur. Tricounty starts off the 2025-26 season with a victory on the road. Tim Hacken now joined by our victorious head coach Jeremy Sims from Tricounty. Coach, great to see you. Congratulations. You start off the 2025 season not just with a win, but a resounding win. How would you sum up tonight?
You know, it started first on the defensive end. We talked about that pregame. You know, we take care of the things we know we control. That's on the effort. And we did that. We came out, and honestly, they surprised me. The intensity they had, you know, we talk about that in practice, but to try and create that, that's a hard thing to do. But, again, I think the first 25 of our 32 points of the game came from fast breaks or some defensive play, effort play, that transition in offense. So a great way to start.
Had a lot of different things working, a lot of different guys contributing on offense, defensive performance across the board like you just hinted at, getting out in fast break and transition, turning defense into offense. Felt like a complete performance from your team.
Yeah, 100%. And it's a team effort. That's the key word right there. You got to have 5 guys playing together as one unit, and we had that. We had guys talking, communicating things that we talk about in practice, but again, you see disappear in games real fast. But they stayed focused. They were disciplined. Our rotation, the way we were able to rebound, create turnovers, gosh, it was. I think I'd rather watch us play defense right now than offense.
Really fun to watch, no question about it. Seemed pristine. Somebody at the head of that pack was somebody that you know very well and somebody that you have seen perform at a high level for you and for your team for years, and Drew, but also mixing in Zach Vossler for the first time. Those two playing together and feeding off each other was an impressive duo.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They're playing together. They kind of have a feel for where each one's at. You know, and you can throw Jason, Henry, Caleb out there as far as the effort. They played together long enough, and again, that's where that experience from last season really comes into play, especially this first game. You can kind of see that, how that's developed in the offseason into this, even the first 2 minutes of this game. So, yeah, we want to build on that, and I like where we're at.
Something to build on for sure. Congratulations. You start off the season with a win.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That is Tri-County head coach Jeremy Sims. Now let's welcome in tonight's player of the game, Drew Sims. Senior guard is brought to you tonight by Nebraska Orthopedic Center. Drew, congratulations. You start off the season, your senior season, with the victory. How does it feel?
It feels amazing. We just kind of had a chip on our shoulder from last year when they came to our gym and took it to us. So we just returned the favor.
That was what I was going to ask. I know that last season is last season at this point, almost exactly 12 months since you guys played this team last. But like you said, they took it to you guys. They beat you by 20 on their own in your home gym. You guys come out to a flying start. Was that part of the motivation here?
Yeah, it was. We've been motivated all year, just kind of get back at them. And this is like a big game for us, a big rivalry.
We know at this point, I've been able to watch you play for the last couple of years. You know, you're a talented scorer. You can do a lot of different things. Showed up here tonight, 20 points to lead all players, a couple of assists, steals, defensive plays, transition offense. What was working for you tonight?
Just my teammates moving without the ball and moving with the ball. They just help me create stuff, and they create for me too.
It's like your coach just said a minute ago. You've played with a couple of these guys, Henry, Jason, Litt, so on, over the last few years. You mix in Zach Vossler now into that mix. It was clear early on that you guys had some sort of connection going.
We've been working on it all off season. Everybody's showing up in the mornings, and we've just gotten a lot better.
Curious to see how much better you guys can get as you look pretty good here tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is tonight's player of the game, Drew Sims, as Tri-County defeats Wilber-Caltonia 58-21 to start up the season. Stick around. We'll show you tonight's highlights and our top plays coming up next.
The postgame show is brought to you by Custom Sports. Look great for every game with custom team or business apparel from Custom Sports. Check them out at CustomSportsCo.com.
If we're talking commercial or residential plumbing, Lamel Plumbing is the place you call. Lamel provides 24-hour emergency service as well. Call them if you get in a tight spot. And as for their retail items, well, you got to check out some of their faucets, some of their kitchen items, and some of their bathroom items like their Onyx showers. And hey, say you've got a digging job, you call Lamel Plumbing for that too. They've added a full-time crew for you, doing backhoe, trenching, and sewer work. Take that digging job off your list and have Lamel do it for you. That's Lamel Plumbing in Beatrice, now at their new location on North 7th Street in Beatrice.
At Nebraska Orthopedic Center, they provide comprehensive orthopedic health care. Their physicians are highly skilled in all areas of orthopedic and sports medicine, including spine surgery, foot and ankle, hand and upper extremities, fracture care, and total joint replacement. Their expertise includes the medical management of injuries through physical and rehabilitative methods or surgical intervention. To schedule an appointment or to learn more about Nebraska Orthopedic Center and their family of 25 physicians, go online to NebraskaOrtho.com. That's NebraskaOrtho.com. Nebraska Orthopedic Center is your healing destination.
From the heart of Nebraska to across the state, RMV Construction is building more than just structures. We're building trust. RMV Construction has grown from humble beginnings to become a trusted name across central Nebraska and beyond. With unmatched craftsmanship, cutting-edge innovation, and an unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction, we deliver projects on time, on budget, and above expectations. Trusted, local, proven. RMV Construction in Kearney and Lincoln. Let's build your vision together.
It's time to get in the game. When you team up with teammates, you don't need paths or a playbook. 1 hour a week can encourage a student in your community to win in school and in life. Hundreds of young people are waiting for a mentor to show up and build their confidence, character, and hope for the future. Be the teammate every young person deserves. Clock is ticking. Sign up at teammates.org today. Join the team. Be a mentor.
Tricounty wraps up a season-opening sweep on the road. The Trojans defeat their local rivals Wilber-Caltonia in both legs of this Thursday night doubleheader. And the Tri-County boys finish it off with a flourish, a 58-21 victory to start off the season with a win. Welcome back inside Wilber's gym. Tim Hackett and Chase Wilkinson alongside our entire NCN Sports team. Thanks so much for joining us. It's now time to take a look at how we got here with a flashback of tonight's top plays. Tri-County versus Wilber-Caltonia. These two teams are separated by just 15 minutes of drive time, and they've seen each other a lot over the last few years. Wilber-Caltonia won by 20-plus when these two teams met to kick off last season. Tri-County was motivated to make sure that same storyline didn't happen here this year. The new dynamic duo for the Trojans, Drew Sims to Zach Vossler, they link up early and often in the game tonight.
Yeah, they complement each other well in terms of basketball. Whenever Drew Sims is not, going in for his own bucket, he's going to dish it off to Vossler for an easy two.
Speaking of going in for his own bucket, the steal on the inbound pass, and Drew Sims makes him pay.
That was just the easy steal. Way to capitalize on that, turn your defense into offense.
Look at you're not misreading the scoreboard there. Wilber-Caltonia with 1 point and Zach Vossler with 2 on that occasion. A two-hand jam. The transfer from Exeter Milligan Friend making an immediate impact in his first game with his new squad. By no means the first game for this squad for Drew Sims, but the no-look pass, Zach Vossler wide open, back-to-back buckets for him.
Another great pass by Sims, able to get into Vossler. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with down low in the paint for Class C2 and this conference.
Wilber-Caltonia made 1 field goal in the first half, and there it is. Beautiful fadeaway by Jamison Conway, their top returning scorer and the future Briarcliff Charger.
Absolutely. That was a great little fadeaway shot. Not pretty good contested, able to get it to go.
Conway did what he could to make a difference, but unfortunately for him, it was nowhere near enough. Tri-County was tremendous, getting some depth pieces involved, a lot of different guys contributing. There's Garrett Schmidt with his first bucket of the season, and then Trevor Kapke setting the table for a 3-ball from Caleb Schnelly. A lot of different guys contributing for the Trojans tonight.
Now, Caleb Schnelly, the sophomore, he came in and had a couple big threes and a couple good shots for his first outing. Sophomore, he could be making a case to, get some more minutes.
But at the end of the day, it all starts and ends with that guy. Number 1 in the blue, Drew Sims. He hits the bucket to finish off the third quarter, put the running clock into effect as Tri-County went up by 40 midway through that frame. And we kept going. That was actually at the end of the first half, and we kept going now into the third quarter. Sims back to work once again, leaving off for a bucket for Trevor Kapke.
That's just another good pass by Sims, and he's so good at driving the lane and dishing it off last second and giving his teammate an easy bucket.
Look at the future maybe for Tri-County. That's Dawson Sims with the 3-ball. First of his couple of buckets in his high school debut. Now Tri-County up by 40+, but Hayden Werner, not a big player for this team for Wilber-Caltonia over the last few years, but the Wolverine senior making a difference in the second half.
Yeah, able to just use a 6'8" frame to his advantage, go over the top, get fouled in the process, and a pretty good move from the interior.
A lot of different guys seeing extended minutes here for Wilber-Caltonia. They lost a lot of seniors from last year, so a lot of new guys mixing into bigger roles. There's one of them, Addison Brandt, who had a big fourth quarter. But Dawson Sims right on cue, the freshman on the other side. Made 2 deep balls as he continues to flex into a new role. Tri-County lost by 20+ last year in this matchup, and they return the favor. They roll 58-21. The Trojans victorious to start off the 2025 season.